What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please subscribe if you haven't. So I was reading a couple sites, checking out a few things, and specifically, Clipperholics.com is one that I go to a lot. And it looks like from reading what they're saying and, a few people that I know, the Clippers are going to have to make a tough decision this offseason. And I personally think that it could reverse if Kawhi's health comes back intact and they find a way to be competitive in the playoffs and he's actually able to make it through a playoffs, whether they win or lose. I think that, the Clippers might, maybe not think about pulling the trigger or reconsidering their whole, operation. But a trade for Kawhi Leonard, I'm pretty sure even before I spoke to my sources, even before reading this with Clipperholics, I'm pretty sure those talks have came about in the Clippers organization, in the front office. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out way before next season or way before next offseason. Because with Lawrence Frank in the office, as I said before, that's a disaster waiting to happen to me. He doesn't make good decisions. He doesn't have the right people around him to make decisions. And I don't like his decision making on a lot of things because he allows things to happen within an organization I think that should not. He had a situation, I believe, with the Brooklyn Nets some years ago, allowing some things to happen internally. I can't remember the whole situation, but it was a rift there. And now this situation comes out about a former trainer, which is Kawhi Leonard's friend, I believe. He knew him before being on the Clippers or before he came to the Clippers. But now, of course, you heard me speak about it last week or early this past week about him, the trainer, wanting to sue the Clippers for them firing him just because Kawhi Leonard's not healthy enough to go and his methodology is not working, which came out to be some illegal substances he or somebody was supplying Kawhi Leonard to try to get his health back intact. And I think, with that type of situation around the Clippers right now, they have to try to stay as focused as possible and focus on their season and let the Kawhi Leonard saga go on until it either ceases, until, it's fixed, and or, Kawhi comes back and get on the floor and help these guys out. And I personally think that what Clipperholics was suggesting is that, the Clippers just need to really move on from Kawhi Leonard in a nutshell. And honestly, it really doesn't sound far-fetched, coming from, even my perspective, because I personally said before, I don't know if Kawhi was going to stay after this season coming up anyway, if the Clippers didn't go out and get a second star, or this upcoming offseason, if they don't have plans to get a second star, because Kawhi is not really at the point where he can do what he did in Toronto. He might can do it maybe one more time. I'm not going to say that. He might could do that one more time, what he did in Toronto, put a team on his back and go straight to the promised land. But I don't know if his knees and his body can hold up to do it. And we all don't know that because of what we're seeing now and what we've been seeing the last few years with his productivity in regards to his body and, what he can do as far as being on the court and being available. So, it's a tough situation. It's a tough call to make. It's probably one of those situations where the Clippers are not only going back and forth in their head, but they're definitely going to look to try to get the over in the situation. And what I mean by that is a team is going to have to probably try to sell them on a lot for them to even consider Kawhi or, just his contract. It's a lot that goes into that. Now, me personally, the only team I think that would probably really show interest in Kawhi, a lot of teams would, of course, but a contending type team that he would probably, accept if that was to happen, probably would be Golden State, a team like that. because they can definitely use the help themselves. And now that, Stephen Curry is getting injured and he's getting older and things like that, just having a second star there would probably just make them feel better, because they've never not had one. It's always pretty much, since Steph Curry has been there, it's pretty much always been him and, Clay, maybe except the first 1 or 2 years until Clay got drafted, and then Draymond came too. But they're used to having that. So I can definitely see that being a destination, especially with the talks actually happening this past offseason, but didn't really materialize because the Clippers didn't have nothing to really offer substantially that. Or, maybe from the other side, the offers wasn't substantial enough for them to go through with it. You know what I mean? So, but a lot goes into this, because we have to look at it from a standpoint of, Kawhi, if he stays healthy, like I said, all this might change. And I think Kawhi probably will want to stay with the Clippers, long term, if he's able to, if he's able to get like another star, more help in there. Because James Harden, I mean, that can suffice, but it might not be good enough, because James Harden doesn't usually show up in the playoffs. So Kawhi is more likely going to be looking for another star player to enter the locker room of the Clippers, whether healthy or not, going into next season or next offseason, however you want to look at it. So with that being said, the Clippers have to look into that if they plan on keeping Kawhi Leonard. Now, me personally, I think that they should try to keep Kawhi regardless. I really think they do. I think they should. Now, whether Kawhi just decides to leave or something like that, you can't tell a superstar what to do. A superstar do what they want to do. That's just the way it is. Hell, star players do what they want to do. So, a superstar can definitely do what they want to do. So, but if I were them, I would do everything in my power to try to keep Kawhi. And I think they did, by signing him that extension, last year and everything like that. But the Clippers have been known to eat money and still make dumb trades and still, make dumb decisions throughout the organization history. And I've never been a fan of their decision making. I have been a fan of players on their teams and the teams, of course, but not the front office. I never felt like the front office was solid enough to bring in all the necessary pieces to help them win. If they win a championship, it would just have to be on some like Kawhi Leonard type shit, like where Kawhi does what he did in Toronto, put a team on his back and just, go all the way to the promised land and win it. You know what I mean? So it's going to have to be a situation like that, because I just don't think the Clippers front office usually, makes good decisions in that way. Now, I will say this past offseason, they made some good moves, and I was shocked by some of the moves with the Derrick Jones Jr., bringing back Batum. This is the first time they actually made some moves that I really thought that would really, fit the whole, everybody fits. You know what I'm saying? It's not like people are out of place. It's like guys don't want to do their job. It's like everybody fits, everybody gels, everybody is playing hard, everybody is trying to lock up on defense, and they know what they are right now. And that's the scary part about the Clippers right now. They know what they are. They know they're a scrappy team who can put up points, but they predicate themselves more on the defensive end to allow themselves to generate extra points to put them in position to win. They know that about themselves, and they know they have to have guys step up, and guys are stepping up so far this season. Don't want to jinx them or anything like that. We have to see how it goes going forward, but I'm definitely, interested to see how they play the rest of the season. I can't wait till Kawhi comes back too, to kind of filter out this team and see really what they really would look like all together with all these wing players and defensive pieces that they have. I think Kawhi can make this operation really go, you know what I mean? But of course, it depends on his health, how far they go, past the season going into the playoffs. And like I said, if I were the Clippers, I would find a way to try to make Kawhi as comfortable as possible, get some new trainers in there, get him really right, and get him back on the court, and this offseason, or maybe trade deadline, this season, try to go find a second star player. Because, I mean, really, with that new dome, new Intuit arena and everything that they have, they don't really need to go into next season or the following year with no star player. They really don't. As all the money that Steve Ballmer put in this team, and the arena and everything and all that stuff, and try to make it good for the fans and everything, Clippers fans that come there and enjoy themselves, they need to have some star talent on that roster. So if I were them, I really wouldn't try to look to move Kawhi Leonard any. I would just kind of, hope that he gets healthy enough to get back to who he was. Now, if it doesn't seem like Kawhi is ever going to get back, then, of course, maybe then you might, think about pulling the trigger. But I think Kawhi will find his way, back. Hopefully he does find his way back to himself and get himself going. And really, the main thing is, I kind of don't even really care if Kawhi is healthy enough for the regular season. I just want him healthy enough for the playoffs. Like, if Kawhi played 40 games, 50 games this season, I'd be fine with that, as long as I can see him in the playoffs. Because we all know what Kawhi can do when he's healthy in the playoffs. When healthy in the playoffs, he's the best damn player in the league. I mean, the last time I seen Kawhi in the playoffs was a few years ago, before he got hurt. I mean, it was just 2 games. We had a 2-game sample size against the Phoenix Suns, and he looked unstoppable. And a couple years before that, when he, was in the playoffs and he tore his ACL, this is when they went to the conference finals, and Terrence Mann, and everything, had that 39-point game against Utah. And they played the Suns in the conference finals. Before he went out, he looked like the best player in the league. It wasn't even close to me. I mean, he was scoring like 33 points a game, shooting like 60+% from the field, shooting like 55% from 3. Kawhi does stuff like that no other player can do. No other player, to me, is that efficient, probably besides Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant might be the only other one I could say that'll go into the playoffs and be efficient like that. But he doesn't have the defensive prowess that Kawhi has. So that makes Kawhi's bag a little bit different. So, I mean, honestly, I know that's the past and everything, but if they could just find a way to just get him healthy for the playoffs, I don't even really care about the regular season. The Clippers will manage through the regular season. Kawhi could play 40, 50 games regular season. It'll get them maybe like the 5th or 6th seed, maybe a guaranteed seed into the playoffs and not the play-in tournament. That's pretty much all they need, because their team really, like I said, with the defensive efforts that they have, of the players that they have on that roster right now currently, if you add Kawhi Leonard to that mix and they stay healthy, I don't think no team wants to see them in a 7-game series. Not even the Dallas Mavericks, with Luka, with Kyrie, and with, Klay Thompson. I don't even think they would want to see them, because, like I said, Klay Thompson, for one, he's a little bit older, and Kyrie's getting a little bit older, and Luka's good, but Luka's overweight. And he doesn't play defense, and he pouts a lot to the referees. And, it's like you look at him last year in the playoffs, before they made that run to the finals, the Clippers really gave them the hardest run, or the Clippers would have given them the hardest run if Kawhi was there. I don't even think they would have beat the Clippers if Kawhi was there. So that tells you right there, the Clippers would have been the team more than likely in the finals instead of Dallas, because that's the one team that has Dallas's number when Kawhi is around. So, I mean, you can look at it from a different standpoint, understandable. But and all in all, I think the Clippers need to try to find a way to keep Kawhi happy, get him healthy, and get some more help in there, as he's going to inquire about at some point, if he hasn't already. And try to just go at it from that direction. Because, I mean, really trying to trade him will be a hassle, and you're getting rid of a star player and probably not going to get another star player back. He's probably going to be like a bunch of picks and some future guys or something like that. I mean, future draft picks and, some young talent and stuff, which they already have. So, and like I said, building that new dome, new arena, you want to have star players in there. You don't want to have a bunch of young guys in there for the future of what it might be like or what it could be like, rather than what it is, if you have a player of his stature, which is Kawhi Leonard. So, keep our fingers crossed on health, and hopefully it all works out, and hopefully he can extend his stay.